Oceans, a force of nature, and seemingly limitless, covers almost 3/4 of our planet's surface. They create the weather, produce oxygen, and keep our world healthy. But there are now worrying signs that our oceans are in peril. Soon, we may run out of time to reverse the damage done. And the ocean's ability to sustain life on Earth will be crippled. Life within the ocean is complex. Perhaps by understanding marine life and their roles in the ecosystem, we can appreciate the fragility and importance of their home. Many small island states are leading the way in ocean protection. This reserve, covering 500,000 square kilometers in size, is a designated marine protection area where commercial fishing and mining are banned. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, this area is rich in biodiversity. But this area is also at the front lines of climate change. Typhoons, pollution, rising temperatures, and sea levels threaten the island nation. Worldwide, coral reefs are disappearing, but due to a fishing ban, the underwater ecosystem is protected. Here, life is still a celebration. But for how long? These coral reefs are considered to be one of the 7 underwater wonders of the world. In nature's underwater city, there are around 700 species of corals and 1,400 species of reef fish. Corals are creatures of the sea. Tiny single-celled plants called zooxanthellae live inside the corals. By day, they bathe in sunlight, providing food for the coral. By night, the coral's polyp expands from its case and uses its tentacles to capture plankton, transporting them from the mouth to the body as life-sustaining nutrients. When polyps grow, they deposit their calcium carbonate skeletons, which eventually are built up into large reefs. Coral reefs are the basis of a vast food web. Creatures living in the reef must be clever to survive. Sometimes called flowers of the sea anemones use their deadly tentacles to capture prey and defend themselves against predators. But their tentacles' poison won't harm the clownfish. The clever clownfish finds a safe and comfortable nest in a sea of dangers. Goby fish and the nearly blind elf-eyed shrimp are an odd couple. They share a single burrow. As the shrimp pushes sand out to build their shelter, the goby watches for predators. It's an efficient way to get more work done. Some creatures don't rely on teamwork, but on their own smarts. The common octopus is a master of camouflage. Today, this male has an important mission. He's found a mate. But as female octopuses are usually larger than the males, there is a danger that he'll be strangled or eaten by her. He has to proceed with caution. The male octopus extends a specialized mating arm called the hectocotylus to hold its mate. This is actually a reproductive act, and each octopus only reproduces once in its lifetime. The male transfers the sperm packet to the female through the hectocotylus. The female then keeps it in the fallopian tubes and completes fertilization when it is mature. Sometimes this ritual can last for hours. Not so for this couple. Not long after he's mated, the male octopus will eventually die. For him, mating is a means to a beginning, as well as an end. Shallow waters and abundant sunshine offer a perfect place for microscopic plants or phytoplankton to flourish. At low tide, the phytoplankton in the bay float and sink with the current in this area. When food is plentiful, there is often a feeding frenzy. Nature's food web is displayed in full glory. To vie for phytoplankton, zooplankton will gather in large numbers, which in turn attract the fish. Schooling fish attract larger predators, like manta rays and sharks. Some fish gather together and form large schools. The advantage of this is that they can swim more efficiently, and it is easier for them to spot predators and notify each other of their presence, thus increasing the safety of the group. In the ocean's food chain, phytoplankton are eaten by zooplankton, which are then devoured by fish. Each species is assigned a special task and a unique meaning to its existence. Their lives may be long or short, and their appearances vary, but they all play their part in the ecosystem. disruption to the ecosystem remains a constant threat. Over the last 200 years, the oceans have absorbed a third of the carbon dioxide produced by human activities, and 90% of the excess heat from greenhouse gas emissions, leading to rising ocean temperatures. Increasing ocean temperatures affect marine species and ecosystems. Global warming is very likely to reach 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2030 if it continues at the current rate. The delicate balance within the oceans is nearing a tipping point. Too much carbon dioxide and the ocean becomes more acidic. Acidity and rising temperatures directly affect the coral reefs. If temperatures change just a little, corals will die, and it takes nearly a decade to recover. Bleaching is corals' stress reaction to prolonged exposure to higher sea surface temperatures. When corals die, so too will the creatures that depend on them for survival. But there is another danger: ocean plastic. At least 8 million metric tons of it end up in our oceans per year. Plastic doesn't decompose, so it can last a very long time. They can break into tiny pieces called microplastics, which are then eaten by marine life, which may affect their reproduction and growth. Coral reefs naturally generate sand as hard coral skeletons die, and their calcium carbonate bodies become the next layer of the sea floor. Meet the green bumphead parrotfish, who spends its days foraging on coral. Bumpheads are the world's largest parrotfish and among the largest of all reef fish, weighing up to 46 kilograms. They have sharp teeth used to chomp down on coral. They also eat the algae that grow on top of coral reefs. This cleaning function is important to the reef's ecosystem survival. The sand and gravel are derived from fragmented coral reefs, while the fine white sand of the coral reef beaches are in fact made of parrotfish feces. In a year, one large parrotfish can produce 450 kilograms of sand, the weight of a baby grand piano. Here's a stingray hiding in the sand. The flattened bodies of stingrays allow them to effectively conceal themselves in their environments. Fine sand becomes a habitat for living organisms and an important source of nutrition. The soft sand also provides good shelter for mantis shrimp and spotted garden eels. They look like plants, but these eels live most of their lives partially embedded in the sea floor. They sway with the currents and feed on passing zooplankton. Fish are affected by water temperature as well as lunar phases. Some fish usually live at depths of 100 to 200 meters. Springtime, it's spawning season. There's a new moon, and the sea bream rises to the shallows at a depth of 30 meters to lay the eggs. Fish eggs attract other fish, who take this opportunity to feast. Some fish lay their eggs on rocks. Others see them as a nutritious delicacy. For this reason, the mother fish will do her best to protect her children, even changing her behavior. Breeding season is a busy time, especially so around the coral reefs. Tropical fish that are normally solitary are now congregating in groups. Once they've gathered, females release their eggs directly into the water, and males release their sperm to fertilize these eggs. However, the success rate is low because the fertilized eggs are highly nutritious and are often eaten by other fish. To increase the chances of fertilization, two-spot red snappers form huge aggregations that look like a fish wall. This event is so massive that the water becomes milky. Breeding season is a dangerous time for fish, because they come back to the same place around the same time each year. Spawning aggregations are especially vulnerable to overfishing. Recent changes in fishing cultures, technologies, and economies have caused widespread overfishing. Global consumption of fish is outpacing natural production, which is a threat to marine ecosystems. We are connected to the ocean with every breath we take and every drop we drink. But climate change, overfishing, pollution, and habitat destruction are threatening the force of nature that keeps our planet healthy. Fortunately, an initiative known as 30 by 30 aims to put nature on a path to recovery. Countries around the world are being called to action in an effort to increase marine protection areas from 7% today to 30% in 2030. The ocean is threatened today as never before. But perhaps, through a global effort, mankind can reverse the damage. The sun rises above the reef, and a new day begins. From below, the ocean sustains an abundance and diversity of life. For now, it is brimming with activity. The survival of coral reefs will depend on us. If we each play our part, they will have a fighting chance to survive and thrive for generations to come.